Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Another day, another scholarship. So today we'll be talking about how to get into US universities without the GRE and without English language test requirements. So how to get into postgraduate programs or graduate programs as they say in the US without both the GRE and English test requirements such as the TOEFL or the IELTS. So these universities are telling you essentially to come the way you are. In other words, you're meant to come with your regular application documents such as your transcript, your CV, recommendation letters, those regular application documents. Why things like the GRE, GMAT, TOEFL, IELTS are waived. So this is a beautiful opportunity for those not looking forward to taking the test. So if you're new, thanks for joining us. We're happy to have you. Kindly click on the subscribe button now because I'm sure you're going to enjoy the goodies we'll be throwing at you in this video. If you're not new, thanks for coming back. We're glad to have you once again. So let's dive in without any further delay. So first of all, I think you need to be aware of three important points. And point number one is that there are departmental variations. So this means that while Department A might give you a waiver, Department B might not give you a waiver. So the idea here is to go to your particular department and see whether this applies to your department. So we'll be looking at several universities, but those waivers not cut across all the departments. So that's the lesson I'm trying to pass across in this first item. So item number two, some of these waivers, that's GRE, TOEFL, IELTS waivers. Some of them are automatic, while others you have to request for them. Automatic in the sense that the department has said, oh, this year we're not asking students for any standardized test. So just come with your regular documents, and those documents are sufficient. But other departments might tell you if, for instance, if you've studied in an English majority country, or if your course was taught in English, you do not need to submit the TOEFL or the IELTS, but you need to request for a waiver. You need to bring forward a proof of English proficiency. For instance, your a letter from your school attesting that you studied in the English language, something like that. So the first one is automatic, the second one is not automatic. So check which one applies to the department you're applying to. So the third point is about total waivers and what I call optional waivers. Total waivers are where they say, oh, do not bother with this test at all. While optional waivers are like, oh, you can take the test, but they are not compulsory. So if you have the money to take the test, I would advise that you should take it, especially if it is optional, because it might help boost your application, boost your chances for a scholarship, for an assistantship. But where they say there is no need at all, then you don't need to bother. But where it is optional, if you have the money, you can get the money from somewhere, advise that you should take the test. So having said all these, having laid down this foundation, I think we should move into the 10 universities giving different forms of GRE and um, English test waivers. So the first university we'll be looking at today is the University of Seattle. University of Seattle, of course, in the US. A number of faculties here, and I've gone straight to the College of Science and Engineering. So you could choose any course here to check for their waivers. So here I decided to choose computer science. It's quite a popular course, yeah, for international students. So for computer science, I'll try to check for the application waivers or the requirements and things like that. You can also use this opportunity, of course, to check for funding, for financial aid, if that makes sense. So apart from waivers, GRE, IELTS, TOEFL waivers, you might also want to check for the availability of funding opportunities. For instance, you might want to check here for scholarships. But remember, this video is particularly dedicated at GRE, TOEFL, IELTS waivers. Let's go straight to that instead of funding in general. So here, you can go straight to the department page, or here there is a shortcut saying application, requirements, and procedure. You could go straight there and you get a PDF file telling you what you need to bring and what you don't need to bring. So it talks about a $55 refundable, non-refundable application fee. But as I have said in a number of videos, you can always get waivers for this application fee. And it's even written here that the fee is waived for fall 2022. So here it's actually a 3-in-1. You get a fee waiver, and I'll be showing you how to get a GRE waiver and an English test waiver as well. So this is a beautiful school if you want to study without paying anything in form of standardized test fees or even application fees. So let's go to the GRE requirements. It says here actually that GRE requirement has been made optional for applicants applying through fall 2022. So here we have application fees waived. We have GRE made optional. We have GRE made optional. And then let's go to the English language requirements. For the English language requirements, it says people from these countries: Canada, Great Britain, Ireland, New Zealand, Australia, Bahamas, Jamaica, Kenya, Singapore, and the rest of them, including Nigeria as well, are exempted for the English language requirements. So if your country is not on this list, do not worry. You can still send them an email and make your case. Show them proof that you studied in English language and you do not need to take an English proficiency test. So this is a 3-in-1 application fee waiver, GRE waiver, and English test waivers. So it's at the University of Seattle, as I said initially. So check for other courses. I just checked for computer science. You can check for the other courses here as your interest requires. So let's move to another university. So this is the University of Idaho. We've been here in the previous video, but we talked about GRE waivers. But I am happy to also announce that you can also get what they call it. You can also get English standardized test waivers, TOEFL, GRE waivers, also from this university. So somebody in this channel actually got a scholarship at the Department of History in this university without submitting any GRE, without submitting any TOEFL score. So this is the Department of History. We can confirm that there is no GRE requirement. What about TOEFL? Well, here it gives a number of points you need to get for the TOEFL or the IELTS. But if you move down here a little where they say English requirements or English proficiency, there is a section for waivers. So those who studied in English, or those who studied in English majority countries, or if you can get a letter of English proficiency from your school, you actually get a waiver. So once again, we're getting GRE no, and TOEFL, IELTS, we're getting you could get a waiver from them. So here you need to consciously apply for a waiver, telling them that, oh, I don't need to submit any of these requirements because I actually studied in the English language and I'm eligible for a waiver. So you could, of course, check other departments. I just check history. You can check things like animal science, for instance, to see whether it also applies. As I said, there are department variations. What applies for one department might not necessarily apply for another department. So here, GRE no, and English proficiency, just similar to what we saw in the history department. You can also apply for a waiver. So come as you are with your regular document without GRE, without TOEFL, without IELTS. There are other We've done about 2 universities and there are 8 others here, but we don't need to look at everything because they follow a similar pattern. But just bear with me and see the different points I'm making along the way. So this is the University of New Orleans, University of New Orleans in the US, of course, and you can see a similar pattern. I don't want to be repetitive here, but just to show you similar patterns when it comes to waivers. That in one department there might be a waiver, in another department there might be no waiver. So be careful to check whether it applies to your department or not. Let's check chemistry in the University of New Orleans. Chemistry department. So from here already we see requirements. There's no GRE here either for the masters or for a PhD, or you can always confirm from the main website if there is anything about the GRE, how to apply. So it says here categorically that the GRE graduate record exam scores are not required by the chemistry department. So if you're applying to the University of New Orleans to the chemistry department, you do not need to provide a GRE score. So what about the language requirements? So TOEFL is telling you the what they call it, the cutoff mark you should get, or for IELTS and the rest of them. But remember, we did a waiver. So let's check of how we can get a waiver with this in this university. So it says here that if your education was completed outside the US or another English recognized speaking country, and you would need to provide proof of English proficiency. So as I said, as usual, like the previous universities we saw, you need to get something like a letter from your previous university to say, hey, I studied in the English language, there's no point writing the TOEFL or the IELTS. So the same applies. So you're looking for a university, you don't want to write the TOEFL, you don't want to write the GRE. Here you go, you have variety. So this is the chemistry department, of course. As usual, you can check for other departments. Because of time, of course, we can check for each and every one of them. We also have here, of course, the University of Oklahoma. The same thing applies, but I noticed in this university, for social sciences, the GRE was waived. Social sciences, that's the School of Arts and Sciences. Most of the GRE requirements were waived, but for a number of pure sciences, for a number of pure sciences, the GRE scores were not waived. So this is the variation I was talking about again. So you might get a waiver for anthropology, for instance, but there's no waiver for mathematics. So try to find out to see whether your course requires one or not. The same applies to this is the University of New Mexico. University of New Mexico, the number of courses they have here. As usual, use the same technique. Check if your course is waiving. Check the waiver also for English requirements. So there are other universities here. This is Babson College. Babson College is known for its prestigious business courses. So if you're interested in business, I think Babson College is for you. And it is written clearly here that GMAT and GRE scores are optional for 2022 entry. So you do not need to provide. And of course, you use my same technique for the language requirements. You can use my same technique for the language requirements. So they have this regular document you need to provide, like the CV, um, transcript, recommendation letters, probably writing sample, but no GRE in sight, no TOEFL in sight, no IELTS in sight. Look at another department again. This is the University of Florida. I believe. Yeah, University of Miami, sorry, not University of Florida. It's University of Miami. And some, as I said, some departments will require the GRE, others will not. So read carefully. This is Department of Architecture, for instance. So you check whether the GRE is needed or not. So for international students, it said TOEFL, IELTS. But of course, as I said, appeal this. Tell them you have the English proficiency, but there is no need to write another one. You've been studying all along with the English language. And these are the application requirements in case you're interested in applying to these universities. GRE not in sight. TOEFL, IELTS, you can get a waiver. The same applies to the Claremont University. So here I went straight to the Human Resource Department because someone has asked me to check for human resources some time ago for Masters in Human Resources. So this is the website, and there's also no requirement for the GRE. I'm happy to announce no requirement. As I said, you can always appeal to them to waive your application fee as well. But there is no GRE in sight. Test score. Standardized test scores are not required in order to apply for this program. You can see that. English requirements, I told you about the waivers. And these countries get almost automatic waivers already. I can see Nigeria there, I can see Australia, I can see Kenya, Uganda, Ghana, Ireland, Jamaica. In case your country is not here as usual, send them an email. Send them an email. So this is University of Colorado as well. So they might give general requirements of what you should submit for um, the TOEFL IELTS requirements, then countries that do not need to submit. So check whether your country is on this list. Look at India on the list, Nigeria, Botswana, Australia. So do your due diligence to check whether you're required to provide any of these documents or not. And lastly, we have the University of Florida. And it's saying if GREs and GRE scores are needed, it means some departments will waive it, others will keep it. So I think it's good to check what your department is saying about it, whether your college needs it or not. For instance, it says, well, a number of applicants might need to submit, but some programs in the College of Arts do not require. So now you do your own check to see if you qualify for the waiver or not. And of course, for the language test, as usual, send them an email if they're not giving you a waiver automatically. And that's it, guys. About 10 universities here. I believe there are more out there giving both GRE and TOEFL, IELTS waivers. And as we saw in one of the universities we checked, that was the University of Seattle, was even application fee waiver as well for computer science, I believe. We saw an application fee waiver for computer science. Yeah, this is it. So the fee is waived, application fee waived for fall 2022. So here it's even a 3-in-1. So guys, take advantage of these numerous opportunities. I wish you well in your application journey, and we cannot wait to celebrate you. Until next time, take care of yourself. See you at the top.